Councillor Carlson, sound check. Ooh.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Oh, hello. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Economic Standing Policy Committee for Thursday, March 14th. And if we could first, Madam City Clerk, start with the roll call.
Absolutely. Councillor Carlson?
Present.
Councillor Croson?
Present but eating pie.
Councillor Dodick? I believe he's got another engagement. Councillor Palladino?
Present.
Councillor Parker?
Here.
Vice Chair Schmidt-Rampel? Here. Acting Mayor Middleton Hope?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Campbell?
Eating peanuts.
Mayor Hagan?
Present.
Thank you.
And yes, welcome to 3.14 Day and Pi Day. Great day. We will start with the acknowledgement statement. The City of Lethbridge acknowledges that we're gathered on the lands of the Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains and pays respect to the Blackfoot people past, present, and future while recognizing and respecting their cultural heritage, beliefs, and relationships to the land. The City of Lethbridge is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. I have an adoption of agenda, a resolution from Vice Chair Schmidt-Rampel. Be it resolved that March 14th, 2024 agenda of the Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee meeting be adopted as presented. Are there any additions, Madam City Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. There are no additions or revisions to today's agenda.
All right, Councillor Schmidt-Rampel.
Seeing as there are no additions or submissions to this meeting, I will call for the vote.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. I have a resolution from Deputy Mayor Campbell, consent agenda. Be it resolved that the minutes from the Economic Standing Policy Committee meeting held on February 8th, 2024 be approved and the Mayor and City Clerk be authorized to sign the same. Further be resolved that the status of initiatives for March 14th, 2024 be received as information with the following amendment, that the Rocky Mountain Turf Club request Reconciliation Indian Relay Alberta Association Spirit of the Horse be referred to the annual operating budget review in November. Deputy Mayor Campbell.
Unless there are any other questions or errors or anything like that, I'll call for the vote.
Oh, we do have a question. Councillor Croson.
Just one quick question. Just to make, will the Rocky Mountain Turf Club just be notified of that is going to next November so they have a chance to prepare?
Mr. Elliott.
Thank you for the question. Yes, they will be notified that that is the direction. Should they choose something different, I suppose they could always make a request to come back to council. However, that will be the message sent to them.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I see no further questions. So with that, question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
Do you want to go in close or do you want to do the public? We should go in close because it's not 1:30 yet.
Oh, and it's 1:30, yeah. So now I'll make a motion to go in closed for the agenda item we have for closed. Vice Chair, I was going to say acting chair, Vice Chair Schmidt-Rampel, all in favor? And we're just take a couple minutes to get into close. Thank you. welcome back. We are switched over, and I think we are good to move forward. All right, so continuing on with submission 6.1, Downtown Lethbridge Business Revitalization Zone 2024 budget. It was a submission that we had all received and is not a presentation, but if anybody has any questions, I know we do have Ms. Amy's here. If there's any questions that, if anyone has anything to bring forward, thank you. Councillor Schmidt-Rempel.
Thank you very much. And as we do have Ms. Amy's here to answer some questions, if you don't mind coming forward, I just have a couple of questions here for you. So the budget was approved by the board on February 13th. Were there any concerns raised there with the increase at that board level? Did they have any concerns with the budget?
The BRZ board?
Yeah, the Downtown BRZ board.
No, we discussed it.
There's a button right beside you there, sorry. If you could just raise up the mic, just so that people... There you go. Thank you.
Okay, like my husband says, kiss that mic. He's a singer, he knows it. So no, the board discussed it, and we decided that an increase of about 5% this year was a reasonable increase. We based it on consumer price increase and the cost of inflation.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we felt it reasonable. Just to give you a bit of background, last year we raised it for the first time in 12 years. So we are doing a little bit of catch up there. And as we all know, inflation is really hitting everybody hard. All costs are rising. So we do feel we need the additional revenue to continue doing the work we do.
Okay. Follow-up question to that, and a little bit of what we were discussing yesterday. What do you feel the business health is like in the downtown core? How are businesses doing down there?
I think for the most part, and if you look at the Brighter Together survey through EDL and the Downtown Business Revitalization Zone, I feel for the most part that there is a level of optimism amongst the business community. Feedback that I'm receiving is varied, but I would suggest that the majority of folks that I speak to, business owners especially, are pleased with the efforts of the BRZ, love Festival Square, love the initiatives, really, really keen on things like the Clean Sweep program, which is funded through the city. And I would suggest that by and large, although we are dealing obviously with a lot of issues, social issues, that kind of thing, by and large, we're trying to keep our heads above water and look at the positive.
Okay. And then finally, just for me, what is our vacancy rate downtown, and how does that compare to past years?
We did a fairly unscientific count recently and came in at 93% occupancy, but that's street level only. So I would have to go back and do a little more research and digging to find out exactly what that percentage is.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councillor Croson.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin. Thank you, Ms. Amies, for being here to answer some questions. Your budget is sort of broken down into two places with revenue, right? You get your revenue through your levy, and then there's some money that comes in from the city for contracted services. So one of the things that our money from the city goes through is the Clean Sweep program.
Correct.
So if you could give me a little background on how's it doing? Is the budgeted amount, is that appropriate? Are you seeing a need for more? Because of course that comes from us. So I'm just curious what you're thinking of the Clean Sweep program. Is it achieving what it's supposed to?
Oh, I would suggest it's definitely achieving what it's supposed to. I mean, just before my time at the BRZ, we did add another foreman, which allowed us to clean the city, or clean the downtown rather, 7 days a week. So the other really great piece is one of our foremen starts at 5:30 in the morning and does a sweep of the downtown so that even before people are coming to their places of business and their work, they are seeing that we have addressed some of those issues. In terms of funding, we're managing, certainly. However, again, costs are going up, even the cost of things like garbage bags, which we use regularly and numerously. So when we get to our next budget cycle, certainly we'll be going into some negotiation, presumably with the city. One of the things that happened last year was there was some issue around the fact that we weren't paying our Clean Sweep crew members, who are actually stipend volunteers, they are not employees, that we weren't paying them $15 an hour, which is minimum wage. And that remittance for them was raised to $15 an hour. There were some jobs that were being done for $10, other jobs for $12, and then the remainder for $15. So that has certainly put some stress on our budget because we're having to pay between 18 and 25 people that much more money. And that was passed by council last year without any increase to the overall budget. So that has become a bit of a pinch point for us, certainly.
Okay, and you have a good avenue to work with administration over those concerns?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor Higgin.
Thank you. Acting Mayor Middleton-Hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Amies, again. Just a couple of points for clarification. One deals with graffiti and the reporting and the identification of graffiti. I know that we have a graffiti abatement team. How does Clean Sweep fit into that model?
Clean Sweep has, well, the BRZ has now established a graffiti reporting form on our website. And not only do we get those reports coming in so that we can act on those, we also drive around and see it and act on that as we can. It, for us, is very much a warmer weather kind of activity for us because our pressure washer is a cold water pressure washer. But we've been out on nice days in February and March already. I think we've removed over 100 already this year, so before we've even moved into the spring. We're very active on our graffiti, yeah.
So the second question is about power washing, which is interesting. I would imagine that the city has hot water pressure washers because I've seen them in action. So I'm wondering if there could be a request to utilize those to remove graffiti. As we know, graffiti removed sooner than later is important.
Absolutely.
But we also have locations in the city where there is a substantial amount of effluence, whether it's body fluids or feces, whether it's in Galt Gardens along the pathway, not the pathway itself, but in the pergola area, or front doorsteps and so forth. How is Clean Sweep managing that? Because you talk in terms of Clean Sweep cleaning up, but are they actually doing things like power washing and assisting businesses? How does that work?
Well, when we have a number of different methods that we've researched to remove biohazards.
Yep.
And in super cold weather, if we have, say, urine to clean up, we have a method with baking soda and pails of hot water that we would take to that site. Okay. Our encampment team also addresses those biohazards.
Yep.
We have one person who is trained to remove those because they are difficult. We have pretty good relationship with businesses. When they phone and say, we need some help here, we're there immediately to give them help because we realize how difficult it is to get in and out of one's business when there's that mess.
Thank you for that. Last question. You indicated that you have someone that is specifically trained in managing biohazardous material. So I would presume that that person has had adequate training, that the BRZ has policies in regards to how that's going to be deployed, and most importantly, that they have adequate personal protective equipment.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As I said,
I knew the answers to these questions.
Yeah,
I just
I know.
want to get them out there so that others can hear it.
And we do keep that actual biohazard cleanup to one individual,
Yep.
as well as a manager if necessary, if it just becomes sort of out of control. Because the Clean Sweep program is a low barrier employment or volunteer program. And so we do quite a bit of training with our volunteer crew members, but we don't expect them to act to the level of expertise and care that would be needed to remove a biohazard.
Yeah. I do want to compliment the Clean Sweep program. It's
you.
very effective, and it is helping to keep our downtown very clean. So
Absolutely.
much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amies. A question I'd have as well, boy, till you come up to the mic here, you almost have you sitting down there. This is going to be not a firing squad, but you're getting the questions. We appreciate the answers.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
I've heard quite often, and it might be it's better to our admin, and if they find that it's a question they can answer or not. We have graffiti in other areas of the community.
it's my understanding, I guess the first question for Ms. Amy's, BRZ, when they pay their fees, this includes graffiti removal. Is that fair in the downtown area?
Correct.
Okay. Second question to our administration, because I've heard, well, downtown businesses get it, which they do pay a fee, being on the BRZ. Is this fair, what I have said to those business owners is that's why it is removed? It's a fee that is paid being in the downtown, if it's another area of the community.
Graffiti program.
You're good.
In terms of the graffiti program that the Parks Department runs, that's where you would see a difference in that. The Parks Department goes around and we have an employee, so it comes into 311. And so the downtown graffiti program is different than the rest of the community. So that's the piece that I can talk to you about. And then I think Ms. Scheit can talk
Public
about.
though, right? Any public property is
Yeah.
what we would do, but as in the downtown, we don't have something similar to that that the downtown businesses have because they're members of the BRZ for removal. We don't have if a business on 13th Street North or far south side has some graffiti, there's no process with that besides them hiring someone to come and remove that graffiti would be my understanding.
So I can speak to this. Andrew, Malcolm, and myself were actually speaking about this morning. So as part of the Clean Sweep program, as it sits, graffiti removal is one of the items that falls within their bucket. But it's currently kind of one of those things that it wasn't something that we dealt with a lot in past years. So it was one of those things when the Clean Sweep program had time to address those, maybe once a week, twice a week. That was something that could fall under their portfolio. Now that we're seeing such an uptake of graffiti, it's something that we're actually sitting down to have a meeting on next week, I believe, between the BRZ, myself, Clean Sweep, Andrew's team, to talk about how that could potentially fit within the existing Clean Sweep program, and if that would just be specific to downtown, or if that would fall within the rest of the city. And so because Clean Sweep program is now managed under CSD and is also all-encompassing of like the encampment program and all of that, it's handled a little bit differently than what it was when it was strictly under urban revitalization. So it's something that we have on our docket to talk about next week.
I greatly appreciate that because with Clean Sweep, I know that those funds generally come via taxation, probably not BRZ, obviously, right? I think that is general taxation, so community pays for that. And if it's communities paying for it and if it's just used in that downtown. So I'm happy to hear that the conversation is there to possibly, and not that we're going to put out there if anyone is watching, we're going to be doing everywhere else, but the conversation is to find out what that could look like and if there's additional costs, et cetera. You're already in the midst of that.
You bet, yeah.
Awesome.
It's something that I noticed even driving around through Warehouse District, 13th Street North. We're just seeing such a huge uptake in it. And like I said, because Clean Sweep program now assists with the encampment response and areas that are outside of the downtown, but for all of those social type needs that we're seeing with needle collection and that's why we're looking at it from a bigger lens.
And to close that, it's the experts that do this, and I'm calling them experts because the work is amazing. However, it's not where you want that work done. If they can focus and redirect to art in another way rather than some of the graffiti that's being done, because the work is, sorry, anybody out there that's got it on their building, it's pretty amazing what they can do. They're great artists. Just can we put it to
We have some ideas around that as well.
You do, as far as getting, okay.
Encourage it in maybe one specific location, if we can partner with somebody that might be willing to offer a
Love it.
space for them. So we're looking at those things as well. I had some of those conversations this morning, and we'll be continuing to look into those.
Great, thank you so much, appreciate that. All right, Councillor Campbell.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Amies, for being here. And not to bring up the negative side of things, but there are some people who believe that the levy on the BRZ is not doing anything to enhance the downtown. I just wonder if you could publicly respond to that sort of thought that the levy isn't worth it.
Well, I would have to disagree respectfully with those folks because, I mean, every day down in the office, we are so busy with our advocacy efforts, our support and promotion. In particular, we have a really, really dedicated, hardworking team where our door is always open. We reach out to our membership with newsletters and through social media. We do a lot of initiatives to bring folks into the downtown. So again, I would have to respectfully disagree with those individuals. And what I would love to do is invite them to come to the office or identify themselves and come in and have a chat about how we can better serve our membership in the downtown. That's why we're here.
Well said. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Ms. Amy's, if I can. The 5% increase this year, $11,000, nearly $12,000 increase this year seems fairly minimal. Was there any discussion with the board about larger or smaller increases to either accomplish more or refocus? I guess following up on Councillor Campbell is I do sometimes hear comments on the levy. I also hear comments that it's a very small budget that seems to accomplish a lot. Is there any discussions around your board table about saying, you know, maybe if we expanded the budget a bit more, we could do some more things or things that strategically need to be addressed? Do you guys have those type of discussions?
Absolutely. In terms of strategy, last year was the first year that we raised the levy for 12 years, right? And so we raised it quite radically, 20%. Because we were falling so incredibly behind in comparison to other similarly sized cities and the revenues that their BIAs and BRZs receive. So the 20% went through with absolutely no opposition from my perspective anyway. And then this year, given that we had that 20% increase and given that folks are struggling just as much as we are in the BRZ, we thought that it would be fair. We're managing at the moment. Now, that might not be the case in next year or the year after as we chase inflation, but we thought to be fair and empathetic to our membership, to relay to them that we do understand their struggles as well, that we would keep the increase this year based on consumer price index and other markers like that. This year what we did was raise the minimum tax within the larger levy, and we raised that from 120 to 138 this year. So we are being strategic and we're doing it slowly, because the last thing we want is you know, everybody standing up and saying this is ridiculous. I would like more and more people to be in agreement with the fact that we do need to raise the levies slowly and gently over the years in order to be able to keep pace, in order to be able to do the good job we want to do.
And thank you. I'm pleased to hear you're having those discussions because, yes, many organizations fall into the same trap where they keep everything flat and then it's a massive increase just to keep pace. So I appreciate the slow and steady. Second question, if I can, Mr. Mayor, probably through you to City Clerk or maybe City Manager. The resolution is to recommend that Council approve the budget as presented. Do we also not have to direct payment? Or is that just an administrative function that happens? Because I thought when reading the bylaw, it said that council also must direct the payment be made to the downtown BRZ. Should that be part of the resolution? That's my question. Sorry.
Through the mayor, that's just an administrative piece.
Perfect. Thank you.
Councillor Middleton-Ho.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is actually a comment in regards to a comment that you made. So I'm going to ask Ms. Amy's, do the businesses in the downtown core view the graffiti that is being put on buildings as art?
I'd say the jury is out on that, really. It's very personal kind of an opinion to make. Some people do celebrate it as art. There are a couple of marketing businesses that have actually been kind of highlighting some of the graffiti in our downtown and celebrating it. And it is because of that and the proliferation of the graffiti that we're now in discussions with about potentially finding a graffiti wall that we could have so that people could do their thing. Because as you said, Mayor Higgins, some of it is very expert, particularly when you consider that a lot of that is done under cover of night. So the fact that it is so good is quite amazing. Of course, there are others who are mightily unhappy with the graffiti and who rightly are of the opinion that the longer the tag stays, the more entrenched the graffiti and the graffiti artist becomes. We are understanding, of course, that graffiti is also a gang marker. And so it is those kinds of things that we're very actively trying to get rid of as quickly as we possibly can. Because again, it's very personal taste in art. But for the most part, the scraggy tags, if you will, are not appreciated by anybody in downtown.
Yeah, let's be clear. This is destruction of private and public property. And
Mr.
it is
Mayor,
extremely,
just
it
a
is
point of
extremely
order.
costly.
Point of order. We're here to discuss the budget, and we seem to be venturing off into all sorts of tangents. So I'm just wondering if we could maybe stick to topic.
Well, I'm just wondering if I could be provided a little bit of latitude like the mayor was.
As far as the budget, well, my question was the budget, does the part of the budget cover the graffiti that's downtown if you're a BRZ member? That's how I went on with the budget.
Right, except that it doesn't cover, and we've heard that, it actually doesn't cover all of the graffiti that's going on.
So that's why the response was from our team that they're looking at ways.
Correct. And I've got my response from Ms. Amy's, irrespective of Councillor Carlson's comments, so thank you.
Thank you. I do not see any further questions in the queue. So with that, we'll move to a resolution from Councillor Carlson. And thank you very much, Ms. Ames. You can have a seat. Downtown Lethbridge Business Revitalization Zone 2024 budget. Be it resolved that Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee recommend City Council approve the Downtown Business Revitalization Zone 2024 budget of $266,798.47 as presented in attachment 2 in accordance with section 11 of the Alta Reg 93/2016 Business Improvement Area Regulation. Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Ames, for being here to answer questions on the budget. I do want to extend my appreciation that your board is taking steps to do small increases, especially in these challenging times, but to keep pace with inflation and continue to do the good work that the BRZ does in our community. And I ask for my colleagues' support.
I just wanted to add, as I read through this, because I know a question may be out there, that the 2024 budget does come from the BRZ members and not from anyone else. So this is how this is funded, this budget. So I just want to make sure that that's in there as debate. So I see nobody else in debate. So Councillor Carlson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, thank you for pointing that out, that this is not from general taxation. This is from the levy that the downtown BRZ members pay in order for the BRZ to do the work in our downtown. And I'll call for the vote.
Question's been called. All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. Now, I do have the next one is a Service Sports Center lease. I know that was in our documentation that was distributed, and there's not a presentation. It is a submission. Are there any questions on that? And does anybody want to speak to this? I'm sorry, I should first ask, is there anybody in the gallery who would like to speak to this? All right. Seeing none, Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Hagan. I've read the lease, so I know the answer to this, but I just want it to be confirmed. One of the conversations we've been having in the past and this question I'll direct to the city manager or designate, is about making sure that in leases with community groups, especially if city buildings, that we make sure that maintenance of buildings is considered and that, outdoor maintenance is considered and that all those ongoing things are in the lease. We know who's responsible and we have a way of ensuring that they're going to follow up on that. Can we guarantee that this is in the lease and that those things will be, have been considered and will be monitored going ahead?
Through the mayor, I'll ask Mr. Harper to come speak to that.
Thank you for the question. Is this on?
It's on you.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Carlson. Yes, there's very clear delineation of responsibilities in the lease. It addresses the building itself, but also the landscape and the grounds outside. And we do have regular on-site inspections of those to ensure that all of that work is being done on a regular basis.
And the things that we're responsible for, we have well budgeted, there's no issues there maintaining our part of the lease as well?
No, there's no issues there. It's accounted for in both rec and culture and facility services budget.
And the length of the lease is customary to what we normally do with organizations such as this?
Historically, we've had longer terms with this, but the 5-year is a recommendation from legal that we have 5 years with options to renew for 5-year terms, and that's what's reflected in this case.
And last question, it meets our needs and meets the organization's needs. We're all happy with this?
We're happy with it. My understanding and our understanding is that the Soccer Association is happy with it. Mr. Dudas is here as the Executive Director of Soccer. If he would like to address that, it's up to him.
Only if he disagrees.
He says they're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, I see no further questions, so a resolution from Councillor Parker. Service Sports Center 6.2, be it resolved that the Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee recommend City Council approve the lease agreement with the Lethbridge Soccer Association, LSA, for the Service Sports Center as presented in the confidential attachment for 2024 to 2028, with the opportunity to allow administration to extend the lease twice for 5 years each occurrence. Further be resolved that Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee direct that the closed session and documents remain confidential pursuant to Section 23, Local Public Body Confidences, 24, Advice from Officials, and 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Parker.
I do believe questions have been entertained, and I would just call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? All right, that's unanimous. And the last one we have from Councillor Palladino, AHS contract negotiations update, a verbal. Further be resolved that Economic and Finance Standing Policy Committee direct that the closed sessions discussions with regards to labor negotiations update verbal remain confidential pursuant to Section 21, harmful to intergovernmental relations, 24, advice from officials, and 25, harmful to economic and other interests of a public body of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Councillor Palladino. Question's been called. All in favor? That is unanimous. And with that, we are adjourned.